training camp. It's not a mini camp. It's more of a get-together and play basketball. But we're going to see 5-on-5, which you can do all the individual drills and conditioning you want, but to get better at basketball, you got to play basketball. But I would imagine that you'll see as Kai Bowman has the ball first, you'll see a little spirited energy, and we won't do a traditional play-by-play necessarily, but I'm anxious to see Jordan Poole a little bit and see Kevon Looney a little bit.
Especially Jordan Poole, the way he ended last season. That's a guy, a rookie, who kind of got cheated out of 17 games of development.
And so Jeremy Pargo handling for the white team. Jeremy Pargo's been a prolific scorer his whole career. So for Jordan,
obviously the scoring really improved as the season went on for him. But in those last 12 to 13 games, he was averaging close to 4 assists per game.
Right.
But until the summer of 2018, when he played against Team USA in games from Mexico. So he has really come a long way.
Jonathan Simmons handling the ball there. And Jonathan Simmons, an interesting swingman at age 31 that could provide maybe defense and toughness and get an opportunity to hang out at this mini camp. And it's good to see Alan Smailagic back from Serbia, and Kevon Looney actually hits a three. And both Looney and Chris, that's something they're still trying to add to their game.
Yeah, that's the thing with Kevon at UCLA. Now, it wasn't a big sample size, about an attempt and a half per game, but he did hit 42% of his threes, and obviously it's a shorter line.
And there's Jordan Poole hitting an open three. Like we said, the wide open catch and shoot, that's got to be part of his repertoire.
It really does. Just to finish off on Kevon, he has shown an ability at some point in his career to hit the three. It hasn't happened in the NBA yet, but there is some sort of foundation for him to be a perimeter shooter.
And the key thing about a Chris or Kevon Looney or a big on threes is Poole's going to launch another one and drop it in. 33%. Just make 1 out of 3.
Yep.
Enough to be honored out there and space the floor. That's the whole key. If you can do better than that, that's great.
The other thing that Marquise adds is when he's on the perimeter, he's really good dribble handoff guy. And so early in his career, the Phoenix Suns really wanted him to be a guy who could shoot 4 or 5 threes a game, and it didn't quite work out, but he's still very versatile in the aspect that he can handle the ball and he can dish it off as well.
Yeah, Kevon Looney is another good dribble handoff guy, always in the right spot. Mike Mulder is going to be someone vying for playing time, maybe behind Klay Thompson. He misses the jumper there, but you saw Mulder a lot in the G League, and I was really impressed with a very brief time in the NBA for Mulder as Damian Lee hits a three, and already you've got a timeout. So
get out here, get some running, and show coaches what you can do, especially if you were one of the G League guys coming in. Just kind of make a good initial impression on NBA coaches.
And for a guy like Jonathan Simmons, he had played with the Spurs. He had signed a big deal in Orlando. He's just looking to find another team.
He is, and the thing that really impressed me about Jonathan is he joined the Santa Cruz Warriors late in February. Nice deep three there from Jeremy
Shot clock was
Pargo.
at 1, and so Pargo threw in a 35-footer. That's all right.
But Jonathan hadn't played since the 2019 NBA playoffs in a regular season competitive game. And he came in perfect shape, and it had been, 8 to 9 months at that point since he had played in a professional basketball setting. He came in and was able to play 30-plus minutes on both ends of a back-to-back.
It's interesting they've got Mulder handling. Steph Curry is not here at this mini camp, and so a lot of guys, all right, can you show the coach you can handle? Jordan's playing with Kai Bowman on the blue team, so they have a couple different offense initiators.
They do, and that was a really nice take there. It almost looked Damian Lee-esque there from Jordan Poole.
I can make open shots. Much better rebounder recently.
Yes.
Worked on his defense. I just am very impressed with Damian's whole development.
Their last victory of the season against the Philadelphia 76ers, he was huge in that game. Went for 20-plus, hit some big shots late. And we saw it even the year before when he was on a two-way contract. When he was up with Golden State, though he didn't make the playoff roster, again, there was a game at Philadelphia where he was huge. And It was just kind of a victim of circumstance that they couldn't find a spot for him on the 15-man roster at the end of the 2018-19 season.
So here we're a little high screen roll with Jordan and Marquise, and there's the passing of Marquise Chris, and there's the smart cut by Juan Toscano-Anderson without the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing about Juan. He cuts really hard, knows when to time his cuts. That's something else that Jonathan Simmons does really well. A couple of guys who move really well without him.
Every one of the days of this minicamp, and Leandro's one of those upbeat, energetic guys that I think Andrews is going to really like that individual attention.
I really like that hire by Golden State, making Leandro a player mentor coach. And Barbosa was talking with Wiggins, and Wiggins was saying, Leandro asked him what his goal was, and Wiggins says, I want to be an NBA champion. And Leandro's a great guy to learn from in that aspect, having won a title with Golden State.
Yeah, Pargo pulled the string short there, but this is one where Juan Toscano-Anderson playing with Jordan Poole, Marquise Chris, Damian Lee, and then a look at Ryan Taylor. Tell people about Ryan Taylor.
So Ryan Taylor, as you see him shoot a three, that's what he does, and he's especially a very good corner three shooter. He was 50% on corner threes this year with Santa Cruz, 43% from downtown overall. A great shooter and an underrated athlete. He doesn't exactly show it a whole lot on the court because he's very much a yes sir, no sir.
And if you are a corner guy where it's only 22 feet instead of 23.9, don't take random threes all over the court.
Ryan Taylor did very well. I mean, he had a game with Santa Cruz this year. He was 8 of 10 from three. When he gets hot, I mean, that basket looks like it could fit 4 basketballs in there instead of 2.
You already see Simmons making free throws and getting fouled a bunch of times. And Jordan Poole's looking for his own offense.
He really is. And this aggressiveness, I mean, obviously he was a guy who wasn't trigger shy at all, but his taking it to the rack, it certainly looks like it has taken a step in the positive direction here today.
Well, I think early on, Mulder just hits an open three. Jordan Poole, a couple catch and shoot threes. Jordan, third three now. I mean, I don't think if you think of when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, having all of that on your shoulders, that is not easy for somebody.
No, it really isn't, but he blended into the Santa Cruz community almost instantly. Credit Santa Cruz assistant coach Anthony Vereen. Dr. Lacob in an interview mentioned the plan was for him to play pretty much the entire season in Santa Cruz this past year, but with so many injuries at Golden State, the minutes were there for him at the NBA level. So,
well, look at the play there by Smiley. Verticality, went straight up defensively, didn't commit a foul, got the stop and got the rebound. Like those are just little glimpses of how a guy can play on both ends of the floor.
He certainly had his moments in NBA games this year. I thought his NBA debut against Phoenix at the end of December made a couple of really nice plays with Golden State. So he has that switchability that is oh so important in today's NBA.
Well, how about the little Steph teardrop from Jordan Poole? And I don't say Jordan Poole looks like a different player, but I think he's building on the late season success that you were referring to.
I think he's going to be a very good NBA player for years to come. Obviously, he took his lumps in the first 20-plus games last year, but this guy, when he has his confidence right, he is a heck of a player.
To me, Jordan is an old soul. As Smiley tried to throw that down, no, Marquise made sure he didn't. And they were arguing on a reset of the shot clock, no foul, and the coaches are yelling at everybody now. Well, also, too, I think it's good for young guys to realize how hard the NBA is and then work their way through the struggles. I think if it comes too easy, then maybe you develop some habits. As Poole that time will get to the line. This is the deep end of the pool. This is a jump up in level. I'm playing against men here. And I think Jordan responded to that very well. And I think this offseason, every time I spoke to Steve, I'd say, hey, is anybody jumping out at you? And he always said, Jordan Poole is making great strides. And I think when your head coach is noticing that, that's a really good thing.
It really is the trajectory that he's at right now.
I got to admit, I'm just smiling every time I see Kevon Looney because I'm just happy he's healthy. You know, I know. And there he is, speaking of Smiley, He and Marquise Chris, Lakers are proving. You saw with Gobert in Utah. You see it with Jokic in Denver. With all the three-point shooting, don't forget about having size in the NBA. And skilled size becomes a really critical part of your team.
Smiley used to be a guy who, in the G League, shot 35% from three. He certainly has nice rotation on his jumper.
He's already one of the most explosive leapers you're ever going to find.
It was an interesting year contractually for Marquise Chris.
Yes.
His Fargo